Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, and don't adjust your TV set or computer or however you're watching my video. We are still playing the same franchise, but the Seattle Pilots are to Milwaukee, and so we're now the Milwaukee Brewers. We've got a couple of big happenings coming in the next 5 years or so. In 1973, we're going to get the DH. And in 1975, we're going to get free agency. I think is when the game properly introduces it. For now, we have the task of building a semi-respectable franchise. So let's begin. We have our first overall pick, Carlton Fisk, who had a very good season in rookie ball. Not quite as good in A ball. He's doing well, but I think he's still a couple of years away. Billy Buckner is doing much better with the bat. And I think we're going to let him continue to develop. But he's probably going to get to AAA sometime in 1970. And he probably won't stay very long there. We have no one in the injured list. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's hire people. First, we need a scouting director. And look at this. Excellent, legendary, excellent, legendary. Get him hired immediately, if not sooner. And then we need a pitching coach. Now, last time around, I took a look at the coaches we already had, and none of them, frankly, were that impressive. I have a couple of ground ballers, but they're both relievers. I just want to see how you are as a pitching coach. Here we go, pitching coach. Okay. Then we got Mike Blackburn. He's kind of meh. We got Brian Morris. We don't have a power pitcher. So I guess it makes most sense to hire Adam Martin, because at least... we do want someone who can handle young pitchers. I think we'll grab Mike Blackburn. Give him a couple years, see how he handles things. Let's go up to the draft pool announcement. Oh, come on, dude. Really? You're an amazing scouting director, so I will happily give you anything you ask for. But damn. Hey, we got a gold glove. Good job, Woody. I like you. Now, one thing I would like to do is cut payroll a bit. Because you notice we have no money for free agents. We have some money available, but not very much. So one thing we could do is we could flip a couple of players. Okay, Frank Quilici is exactly the kind of player we should be trying to trade. What position? Like, he only played 289 at-bats. He's not that great a player. Let's see what I can get for him. But we're only looking at prospects. I'll take marginal prospects, but I'm only really looking at prospects. So we have Tom Chopay, who's pretty terrible at everything. We have Gary Holman, who can at least draw a walk every now and again, but is otherwise pretty terrible at everything. Charlie Vaughn. Wow, we really don't like anybody. I mean, there's not much to like, but still. Mike Fiore. I'm going to grab Tom Chopay for a very simple reason. I don't want to have to pay him any money. I can see if we'll get anyone else, and we probably won't. but it's worth thinking about. Maybe Tom Tuchinski? Oh, yeah, you can't do that, can you? Okay. Would you throw in Don Young? No. That's fine. This is a pretty naked salary dump. I don't even care that we're not. That's what I'm looking for. Trying to bring in additional money. Okay, scouting budget. This is all out of whack. 20% major league, 30% amateur, 30% minor league. I'm gonna get rid of. I'm gonna reduce international scouting to 5, so we can get amateur up to 45, up to 40, and minor league up to 35. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and increase my scouting budget. No, I do not want the whole thing. I just wanted 180,000. And I am going to reduce my budget for player development just by a bit, down to 200 grand. 200. It's being a jerk right now because it thinks we're not going to make enough money. Yeah, I'm going to trade Rich Rollins, and I'm going to trade... And again, I will literally take anyone who makes less money. These are salary dumps. I acknowledge that. And then Bobby Knoop, probably someone else we want to think about getting rid of. Yeah. My draft budget is enormous. Let's reduce that a fair bit to 400 grand. There we go. That's reasonable. Okay. And then as the season progresses, we're going to try to make some additional deals to free up some payroll. But this looks good so far. Bennell. You can be really helpful for some of my players, and I bet you'd be really good for Bill Buckner. I'm going to go ahead and offer you an extension. Wait, why is it saying I can't offer an extension? What is happening? That is super weird. It must just be an error. I'm going to go ahead and offer you an additional year, and then we'll go from there. I do eventually want to develop some in-house coaching people, but that's going to take a while. My scouting director makes 5 times more than I do. That's a bit irritating. But what have I done? As far as the game's concerned, not a damn thing. Up to the draft pool announcement. Couple of fairly minor traits. Again, they're salary dumps. I need to make sure we've got flexibility in the payroll. So we do. You can go on the 40-man, but I'm going to put you in AAA for now. Did I get any other awards? I'm pretty sure I didn't. That's fine. Okay. All right. So what do we need to take the team to the next level? First of all, where are we picking this year? It should be first, right? Yeah. So we're going to get our pick of the players that are available. Now, there's pretty much every conceivable position at which we could use an upgrade. So we're probably just going to take the very best player we can get our hands on. So, there's a couple of intriguing options here. The first is Greg Luzinski, who's a phenomenal hitter, all things said and done. A pretty fair career, if not Hall of Fame quality, in Major League history. He would definitely be the kind of player to build around, even if his defense isn't great. That's one possibility. We could also grab ourselves a pitcher. And Bert Blyleven is one hell of a pitcher. Took him way too long to get into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. We have Mickey Rivers, who's good, but not... I'm looking for really elite players. Jeff Burrows. Never quite put it together in the major leagues to the same degree that people had hoped, but another fairly solid choice. We don't need another catcher. Elliot Maddox is interesting. But right now, I'd be torn between Luzinski and Blyleven. Luzinski would look awful. He's going to strike out a lot. That's his weakness. But we'll cross that bridge when we actually get up to the... He's a high schooler, so he might also say, I don't want to sign a contract. I want more money next year. Which is totally understandable. Now, is there anyone we'd want to flip to make an improvement? Like, Rich Reese is a pretty crummy first baseman. Like, he's not clearly better than Mike Hegan. I'm going to add regulars just to see if that improves our selection. I mean, not really. And we're mostly getting offers for relief pitchers. And Bill Heath, who's a pretty terrible player. I mean, Jim Miles is the only player that looks even remotely interesting, and even then, nah. Remember, I can always just cut someone if I really desperately don't want them on my team. I don't need a catcher. But thanks, though. Are you doing the stupid thing I used to do? Like, for whatever reason, I'm going to save the game. Sometimes this fixes it. Yeah, what happens is it cuts off part of the screen, but it still displays it. Let's switch to windowed. And then back to full screen. Okay, that seems to have fixed it. Okay. Let us continue. Let's do some Hall of Fame voting. I'm not seeing a lot of inspiring candidates. Billy Pierce has 65 WAR, which still actually makes him much worse than average. I might not vote for him either. Okay, I'm going to definitely go for Duke Snyder. I don't think there's much hesitation of his value to the Hall of Fame. I'm just going to vote for him. And as candidacies firm up or fall apart for other players, I might think about adding some other folks. I will go and put Richie Ashburn on the list. Just because he's already got 42% of the vote. Done. Okay. Let's sim up to the draft. Okay. And again, I know I said this last time around, but it's no less true that we have to get this right. Potential. Oh, Bobby Grich? Like, a really tremendous second baseman would be a nice thing to have on our team. Bobby Grich is one of those players that if he'd come along a few years later, they would have recognized his talents and maybe even voted him in the Hall of Fame. All right. Luzinski's the best hitter in the draft. I don't think there's a lot of dispute about that. Cesar Cedeno would be a nice addition too. Ken Singleton's a really solid hitter too. Oh, I want to make sure we're on our head scout. There we go. Head scout really likes Jeff Burrows. There's Ken Forsch. But here's the thing. There's a lot of really good hitters in this draft. If we look at starting pitchers, it's Blyleven, Forsch, and it drops off really, really quickly. So I'm going to take Blyleven. I think it's the best possible choice to ensure our team's success. I mean, he does everything you could want a pitcher to do. He's got great control, really good stuff, good movement, 3 awesome pitches, fantastic stamina. He's even a pretty good hitter for a pitcher. I'm going to draft Bert Blyleven. I know we're passing off on some truly high caliber hitters, but at the end of the day, Bert Blyleven is, I think, the best choice. I feel pretty comfortable making that decision. Okay. So now that we're in the second tier of prospects, we notice they start looking a little bit less good. Luis Melendez is a pretty solid looking center fielder. So is Jim Nettles. Melendez is a little bit better at hitting because of his higher contact. Steve Bry, though. I'm going to take Steve Bry. I can't get over how good this discipline looks, which means combining it with his contact, his gap power. He's going to be quite a good hitter. And he's a very fine center fielder. Really good range, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. His arm could be stronger, but in center field, that's not as big a deal as it would be in one of the corners. So I'm going to go ahead and take Steve Bry. Okay. Ed Goodson is a really good defensive first baseman. Who might end up being a good hitter? We have to keep in mind that we already have Bill Buckner. So maybe another position would be smarter. Doug Griffin's alright. It's hard to get excited about that, though. I think we will go ahead and take Goodson. Remember, and I know I've said this a few times, but I think it bears repeating. The Major League Draft is not the NFL draft. You're not drafting for players to fill positions right now in most cases. You're drafting for positions to fill 3 to 4 years down the road. So, just because you have a good position player at one particular position doesn't mean you don't take another one, because you can always trade him later on. Okay. Now we reach the part in the draft where we've got a lot of sameness. By the modern fans, this is not that Bernie Williams. This is merely a Bernie Williams. This isn't the one who played for the Yankees in the 90s. Yeah, I mean, we've already kind of bottomed out. There's not a whole lot of upside in spending too much more time in this draft. Ted Martinez is a fairly decent hitter and a good base runner. You know what? We're going to take him and just hope that he can improve his defense. And then, yeah, we've kind of topped out on quality hitting prospects. Any other good pitching prospects? Lou Marone? Yeah, okay. I think that'll conclude the part of the draft that I'm personally involved in. Okay. Was this a great draft? That I'm not sure about. But I do know that we drafted one of the most important positions very high up. And although we may regret in the short run not drafting for offense, I think a rotation ace like Bert Blyleven is going to be more valuable to the Milwaukee Brewers in the coming seasons. He also makes us quite good right now. Not enough that I think we're going to compete for a playoff spot, but he's pretty much Major League ready. We're going to start him in Double-A when he signs, but we will promote him somewhat aggressively. Oh, anyone... I forgot to check this. Anyone that we desperately want to keep whose time is coming up? Not really. Roar, actually. When I've got 13 spots, there's no reason not to put him on there. If I lose Chopin, I lose Chopin. I'm a little upset that Fisk's ceiling has dropped. Why? That's the issue. Our scout doesn't think he'll hit for contact. Now, OSA thinks he's going to be an amazing contact hitter. And maybe that's true. But that's the reason for the big difference. And if we're being fair with ourselves, his statistical record so far certainly hasn't established as much of a contact hitter. Maybe another year in A-ball will let him establish that. Oscar Brown. He's not that impressive. Okay. Let's go up to the Rule 5 draft. All right, Steve Bry. You're 20 years old. You're definitely A-ball material. Goodson, you're even older, so I'm going to put you on A-ball. Lou Marone. You can handle Double-A. And definitely Blyleven is going to Double-A. But I'm going to tell you what, his stay in the minors might be short indeed. Rule 5 draft. There's not much here, to be honest with you. There usually isn't. The AI is pretty good at recognizing when players have a certain level of talent. What do we take Bob Heiss for? He's a second baseman who can't hit. No. That's a bad scouting director. I'm not taking that player. Okay. We'll go to voting results. Ah, damn it. For the Rule 5 draft, I should have checked the waiver wire. I still can, but... yeah, well... there's no one here that I would really bother acquiring. They're all too old. Any Hall of Famers this year? Duke Snyder. That's a pretty easy. That's like a layup in terms of decisions. And Ted Martinez joined the team, and he can go to short season. Okay, let's check the short list. Bly-Levin is on the shortest of short lists. You really think he can handle AAA? How long did he spend in the minors in real life? Oh, he actually debuted in the majors. Interesting. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I really would like to, and there's a certain argument to suggest that it's a smart idea, but I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to wait and see how things turn out over the course of the season. For what it's worth. He's increased my budget, which is nice. We can check free agency. The thing is, you only get free agency when people get cut, though. So, most important, we could actually upgrade and add talent. But I don't know that there's anyone that would really want to trade for that. Yeah, right now my third baseman has never played third base before. That's not great. We're going to look at everyone. And we're going to look at third baseman. You know what? Ken Boyer's expensive, but he's a very solid third baseman. I have no problem grabbing him for a year and then flipping him for a better deal down the road sometime. I could try to get you to cough up someone else, but I suspect you're going to tell me no. This is acceptable. And again, this is just us making use of our best asset to fill a hole. And in this case, our best asset just happens to be our money. And that we're fairly well off monetarily. Mostly because our owner increased our budget, but also because we've done a good job of reducing expenses. L. Rod Hendricks is probably the most expendable player on the roster, and we'll have a think about that as time progresses. If we want to consider keeping him or getting rid of him. And it's also going to depend on how much Fisk develops this year. Okay, spring training. Buckner and Fisk are both going to get invites. Sure, Bly-Levin can have an invite too. The big reason about an OTP to offer a player an invite is sometimes they'll improve a lot as a result of their time in spring training. Not always, but sometimes. So we're going to go and sim up to next month. Oh, damn. Okay. See you later, Brucey. It happens. Holy shit, like every pitcher's just blowing out their arms. We need a new trainer. A trade proposal, you say? You're going to give me a mediocre second baseman for a mediocre outfielder. It's not that this is a bad trade, it's just that it doesn't do anything for me. Cesar Cedeno, you'd never give him to me. You would be moronic if you did. Interesting. Jerry Morales has the chance to be quite a good little hitter. No, you don't like that deal. I don't blame you. What about for like a Camilo Pascual? This is good. This is trading an outfielder who's never going to amount to a huge amount for a pitcher that can help us just for this year. And again, that we can flip down the road. We're not trading for veterans to keep them. We're trading for veterans both because we need warm bodies and because we can trade them if they're doing well. And Camilo Pascual might well be doing well. And I realized that I said I was going to check the waiver wires. But no, after spring training ends. Because a lot of people are going to have to put people on options. And strained MCL. Like, we probably won't grab anybody amazing, but we might grab some useful players. Okay. Blyleven got better. He clearly enjoyed his experience in the majors. Carlton Fisk actually got a little worse at the thing he was bad at. Bill Buckner got better. Quite a bit better. Bayer had a nice little improvement. So did Pat Kelly. This was good. Let's go ahead and finish spring training. And then let's check the waiver wire. No, we'll wait till opening day for that, because that's when things are going to have to happen. Okay. I can't rush Blyleven. He's going to AA. Bill Landis, you are designated for assignment. How many pitchers do I have? I have 10. 10 is sufficient. Wow, Tug McGraw is kind of shit. Damn. Position player wise. We're going back to A-ball Fisk. I need you to be able to hit for average. Oh, I see. You're putting him in left field. No, I definitely want you in AAA for a bit longer. And Bry's going to go to A-ball too. It's 25-man roster, so yeah, Goodson. I'm going to put Goodson in AA. Even though I think he could handle AAA, mostly because of Buckner. Because I want Buckner to get lots of playing time. So, is this roster going to win a lot of games? Absolutely bloody not. But maybe we're on the step to winning more games. Okay, so let's check the opening day roster. Actually, I should have stopped a couple days beforehand. Yeah, if I was going to check the waiver wire. That's all right, though. Top 100 prospects. We have 2 of them. Nice. We have the number 2 minor league system. And this is, I think, mostly because the AI struggles to rate certain players. Like Paul Splitorf is not the 10th best prospect in the majors. But this is still pretty good. And I have a feeling we're going to get another top 5 pick next year. Right. And I still got 1 year after this on my contract. So we can maybe start trying to make a push next year. Possibly. Okay. Yes. Waiver wire. Nobody hugely impressive. J.C. Martin is a good defensive third baseman, but other than that, isn't really worth grabbing. Let's look at position ratings. Contact. Power. Yeah, there's not much here. Which is a shame, but, you know, it was a good idea. Let's finish today. Finish today. And we lost our second baseman for 5 weeks. That's lovely. Okay. We may have to claim someone off the waivers just to help us play second. Like Hunts. He's not a great player, but I think he will fill a certain role. At least for the short term. Alright, we now have Steve Hunts to play second base for us for a bit. Is there anyone else on the waiver wire that we want to grab? Not really. Okay. So we'll just sim the rest of things here. We can get Lazaror back, which I think we definitely should since Gary Kroll is the worst. There we go. How are we winning 12 games? This is still not a very good team. Something very crazy has happened. Goodson is... Oh, wow. Okay, clearly he's way too advanced for AA. I'll still give him a bit more time in case it's a fluke, but that's pretty impressive. Okay. How is he at the zenith of his career with a 5.17 ERA? I'm a bit skeptical on that front, my friends. Okay. What is going so right this year? Okay, Ken Boyer's playing out of his mind. Yeah. To tell you how much better he is than he has been in the past, he has 6 home runs already. He hadn't had 6 home runs in only one of the previous 5 seasons. So that's pretty crazy. Jesus Alou is hitting everything. Not likely to last, but it's still good to see. Yeah, we're first in runs scored, and we have one of the worst bullpens in the league, but... This is an interesting development that I have absolutely no faith in lasting. I bet by this time in May, we're going to be a lot worse. But we can check the trade block, and yeah, there's not much here. Let's get through another month of baseball action. Woody Woodward can come back, which is lovely. I mean, Steve Hunt's wasn't anything special, so we'll go ahead and waive him. I figured it would be fair to at least give him a chance to keep his job, but he didn't. He hit like crap, so... And Steve Hunt's is just getting claimed again. That's fine. Everything's fine. Damn, Danny Duffy's crushing it too. 300th home run for Ken Boyer. He's now at 8 home runs. I will remind you that his all-time record is 24. He's on pace for 36. And the Mets. Oh, the Yankees got Steve Hunt's. I think that's who I got him from, so, you know. Alright, Dean Chance shut us out. That's understandable. 18 strikeouts for Burt Blyleven. That's pretty crazy. 15 for Ken Forsch. You are absolutely insane. Abso-bloody-lutely not. Try again, mate. Try again. Player development. Yes, please. A lot of players getting worse. That's understandable. Elrod Hendricks. His speed improved all the way up to 2. Hegan got a good bit better. Outfielders. Boots Day keeps getting better. He's been a nice little 3rd-round pick for us. Yeah, check that out. 2 WAR. He's got to be playing really good defense, I bet. Pat Kelly's getting better. And that's about it. Let's look at the players we care most about. High top prospects. How did Blyleven's overall get worse? Like, what got worse? He actually lost a tiny bit of control. Interesting. Okay. But his potential's still insane. And this maybe just shows that I was smart to let him develop some experience in the minors. Although this is a crazy stat line for a pitcher. Carlton Fisk is still not hitting for average. He's struggling a little bit. His potential's still sky high, but he's not really doing much to push himself over the top. I mean, is A-ball too hard for him? I don't know. Why are you unhappy with your role on the team? I don't know. Okay. All right. Bill Buckner is destroying baseballs. He's making this a hard decision for all the best of reasons. Steve Bry looks plenty good. Les Rower looks good. There's some good stat lines here for my peeps. Goodson, I am not going to promote you to AAA while we still have Bill Buckner there. So, let's take a long, hard look at the roster and make a very important decision. Is what we're seeing a mirage, or is there actually a chance for us to make the playoffs this year? Our 2nd year in the league. Now, we're already 6.5 behind Minnesota. But that's not the worst thing. I genuinely don't know. Because we're getting, like, it could just be that this is the game simulating lowering the mound after 68 and 69. But, like, we are crushing baseballs. Especially Ken Boyer. Now, the thing is, I look at this, and I look at his ratings, and I look at his track record. He is not likely to keep this up over the course of a full season. And so maybe this is the time to flip him. Get what we can for him and move on with our lives. That's a real tough question, too. I guess before I decide, I should see what I can get for him. Alright, I'm going to look for literally anything that you are willing to offer and just see what I can get. I saw Joe Morgan's name. Holy shit. Was that the Joe Morgan or just a Joe Morgan? I don't know. I don't see his name. I must have just blanked out a little bit. I could grab Billy Williams. I don't think there's enough here. I think I'm just going to hang on to him for the short term and then see how he turns out. Like, again, I don't have to trade. I've got plenty of money. I'd rather trade him a year early than a year late, but I also don't see anything here that really significantly improves the team in the future. Yeah, there's not enough here for me to grab. Tony Gonzalez, maybe. Yeah, I think we'll just hang on to him for now. Although Mike Garman is a very good relief pitcher. Can I get Mike Garman without giving up Ken Boyer? Not really. Not worth it then. We'll just move onward. Four to 5 weeks out for Kelly. Buckner's clearly ready for the majors. He's at least not being challenged enough in AAA. It's gonna start the clock on his. It's gonna make him expensive. All that is undoubtedly true. But he's been so good so far. I'm gonna promote Bill Buckner. Unless there's another outfielder here that could fill the role. And I don't think there is. Welcome to the big leagues, Bill Buckner. And then we'll see how you turn out. Another shutout for Blyleven. Is Blyleven in AAA yet? No. You know what? I'm going to move him at least up to AAA. I think he's earned that much of a promotion. Fisk, this number has to come up. If you hit 228, I can't justify keeping you on the roster. When did he make his real-life Major League debut? For the full time at the age of 25. So you know what? I feel a little bit better about holding him back a little longer. Just let him figure some shit out. Damn, we just lost Don Cardwell. Which means I now need another starting pitcher. Or we could just go with a 4-man rotation and I'll just call up like, here you go, Marone. That's fine. Everything's fine. There we go. Yeah. I would rather us lose every game the rest of the season than call up Blyleven before he's fully ready. Now, okay, Steve Bry is crushing it in A-ball. He's getting promoted to AA. Like, it's ridiculous how good Ken Boyer's been this year. I mean, it's not like you're blocking anyone, because I don't have another really good middle infielder waiting to take your spot. Ed Goodson. I'm going to shift you to third base. So, because you're not going to shift Bill Buckner anytime soon, but if you continue to develop, you could end up a starting third baseman. Are the offers for Boyer getting any better? Let's focus on prospects and see what offers are being made. Don Young, a good relief pitcher. Yeah, I'm sensing a theme that good relief pitchers are about all that they're willing to give up for him. Montreal will offer me... Absolutely not. Nope. I'm going to put Boyer on the trade block and see if we get proper offers for him now. I might do the same with Camilo Pascual, actually. What offers would you make for him in the prospect department? Pretty much the exact same crap I was getting offered for Boyer, so no. Why are we batting Mike Hegan as the leadoff hitter besides his discipline? I wouldn't bat him there, but then that's why I'm not the manager, so... Maybe I should be. No, I am not giving up Bill Buckner. There we go. That should stop the silly. Okay. He's finally starting to make some strides with the bat. This is a pretty decent stat line for a catcher. The question is, do I promote him? And I think for now the answer is no. how's third base coming? You were a really good first baseman. You struggle a bit at third, but I'm asking you to put together... you got batter of the month. I will promote him to AA at the end of the year. I think for now, though, we're going to wait. He's very happy. I will take that. All right. I'm going to rebuild this coaching staff. Brad Garcia is actually a really good trainer, though. I'm going to keep him. Bench coach Gibson. I'd give him at least one more year. Yeah, a couple more years is fine. And I think we'll start making a wholesale replacement of the minor leagues next episode, their coaching staff. Because right now, no one there's all that impressive. Nope. I recognize you think I need a great starting pitcher. But I'm not giving up anything useful for it. Nope. No. Bum, 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 bum. Creating baseball cards. I don't know if I set it up so that every team has to get represented at the All-Star game. I'm pretty sure we'll get represented regardless. Hope. Nope. Well, shit. I need to force that setting next time around. I think it's... Let's see here. Yep, that was the issue. I didn't check it. And we had no All-Stars. And in a vacuum, I would agree that we probably didn't deserve them. Okay. Carlton Fisk is really putting it together now. Let's see how he does. And during... Actually, let's scout him now. Let's request a scouting report and see how he's done. Oh, we can get Pat Kelly back. That's nice. Bobby Trevino is really good defensively. Let's trade Jim Beauchamp, actually. I would happily flip him for a quality relief pitcher. You know what? This is very reasonable. Done. Yeah, the Mickey Mantle guy, he's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and trade Roy Face. You know what? I know Charlie Waters is terrible, but I'm just opening up the roster spot. For the pitcher, and then we can activate Kelly. So let me go to the roster screen, and we activate Pat Kelly. How's Billy Buckner hitting? Pretty well. It looks like he's hit a tiny bit of a speed bump. He's still able to draw plenty of walks, but he's not hitting for as much contact. But he'll get there. I think he's doing well enough so far. Okay, couple of fairly minor deals. Not World Series winning moves. Okay. He's now rated a 34 out of 80. Advanced feel for the strike zone. Look, contact's still 26. So maybe we just need to be patient with him. Decent hitter. And I'll lose at the point where he's getting mighty expensive for less value than he appears to have. What could I get if I traded Jesus Alou at this point? A really great relief prospect. And that's pretty much it. We're getting a whole bunch of pitching prospects. Bob Reynolds is a really good pitcher, though. And we don't have nearly as much depth in the bullpen as I'd like. And we'd save a crap ton of money, too. And the problem with Jesus Alou at this point is he's kind of been pushed aside by Buckner. And while he hits for a good average and has a little bit of power, he doesn't have a lot. I think maybe we move on from him. And I think we see if we can maybe convince you guys to throw in some other players. Not Don Baylor. I don't want him. I could trade for like Cesar Tovar. You'll probably say no. Yeah, you consider it an insult. As well you should. Ooh, what about Don Carithers? No, he's actually not that good. Like, recognizing that beggars can't be choosers, I'd rather have a guy like a Dave Boswell. You must be joking. What would I have to give you? Nothing else. What if I just asked for Boswell? You want Pasquale? I mean, yeah. And then I'll see if you'll still give me Reynolds after all. You might. You're saying not very good. And we're getting to the point where you'll take pretty much anyone I'm willing to offer. I could give you Ken Boyer and then try to get still more out of you. I know this seems like a fire sale, and that's intentional. That's clearly what it is. But I think it's also worth it. Because we're getting a couple of young, talented players. And we're shedding a whole crap ton of payroll. Unless you're going to give me Tony Oliva, I would take that. But I don't think you will. What if I ate all of Ken Boyer's salary and all of Pasquale's salary and all of Alou's salary? Like, for a hitter as good as Tony Oliva, what would I have to throw in? Didn't I just get Woodson? I did. But he's also pretty shit. Yeah. And can I get Tovar too? Nope. Let's start reducing the amount of money that we're keeping. What if I set them all to 0? And I make you eat some of his salary. Okay. Done. Oh, they liked him. Oh, well. The important thing is Tony Oliva offers us a really tremendous player. Okay. I have way too many outfielders now. This is a truth. Let's go ahead and get rid of Trevino. I do need a new third baseman. I could call up Goodson. You know what? Let's give Goodson a shot. Let's just see how he does. And then I need, what, more pitching? I need one more pitcher. Call up Washburn, I guess. I'd like one more middle infielder, if we have one. I don't know that we do. We really don't. I mean, I'll promote Martinez, but I don't think he's anywhere near big league ready. Maybe he is. Yeah, you think he's ready for the bigs. All right, sure. Okay. I know we've made our team worse this year. That was absolutely intentional. Because what we've acquired has given us arguably one of the best outfields in the majors. We can have Bill Buckner play first, which is where I think he's best suited. So let's go ahead and have the manager make some decisions. And that's what they did, which gets Hegan out of the lineup. Because I think he's better suited to being a bat off the bench. This is good. I am worried about Goodson. I'm not going to deny that I'm not... Okay, he throws right-handed. I thought he threw left-handed, which means he would have been an awful third baseman. Trade proposal. You'd give me a mediocre starting pitcher. A lot of people want Jim here. And I guess I see why, because he's got power potential in spades. And he is kind of blocked right now. Maybe we flip him. And I'll expand. Oh, that's a nice touch. They've let you trade for a lot more people on when you get closer to the deadline. That's really smart. Terrific. Hey, that is Joe Morgan. But I don't think it's the Joe Morgan, is it? It is. He just really sucks in this timeline. Don't care. I think Joe Morgan would be a lovely return. Even if he never works out. And it's fair to say he might not. I think this addresses an important need, which is that we do need more young middle infielders. Let me put you back in the minors and just give you a chance to develop your defensive abilities. All right. And we're really at the point of the season we're just going to go ahead and move toward the end. Player development. Tasty. Yeah, Buckner is taking to the majors like a duck to water. Oh, his contact just skyrocketed. Joe Morgan even got a tiny bit better. Goodson looks really, really strong. Some nice improvement among my outfielders. Oliva's getting a little bit worse, but that's to be expected. He's an older player. Blyleven is losing overall ability, which makes absolutely no sense because he's been really, really good. I am confused. Okay, Carlton Fisk pretty clearly has A-ball figured out. And I want to make sure he keeps developing. So let's promote you to AA. What team are you? Oh, you're in rookie ball show pay. Okay. Enjoy AA. Bill Landis. Not that exciting. Jim Dunnigan, on the other hand, has earned himself a promotion to Class A. I try not to use the short season leagues. I don't think they offer a lot to a team in terms of development. An oblique strain for Tug McGraw, who's weirdly been starting. I mean, I guess it's weird that I'm not letting him have proper starters. Do we call up Blyleven now? I mean, he's dominated the minors. It's harder and harder for me to justify keeping him in the minors. And he is very unhappy. You know what? I'm promoting you. Let's let you see what you can do in the majors. I mean, in real life, Blyleven pitched for most of his rookie year. I'm just held off on him because I didn't want to have to pay him as much as quickly, but he pretty clearly deserves it, I think. Okay, I could release him. I could suspend him for 5 games, or I could do nothing. I'm going to suspend him. What did Kelly do? Oh, he won AL Player of the Week. Nice work, mate. We're not going to be a top 5 pick this year, but we should definitely be top 10. And that still means we're going to get a really nice piece to a future, glorious future. I don't know why I said future twice. That was a poor choice. Yeah, I don't really care at this point. Oh boy, Charlie Vaughn is ready. Why not? We really need to build a great rotation. Oh, come on. Don't be getting hurt. I mean, to be fair, he's thrown 270 innings in his first year in professional baseball. That maybe is somewhat expected. I should get the number 4 pick. At least Blyleven got a shutout. That's... Wow. He went 6-1. That's pretty impressive. Blyleven improved across the board. Buckner improved. That's not terrible. How are you taking AA, Senor Fisk? Not so great. Well, you're kind of a slow starter. You got plenty of time to show that you're worthy of the first overall pick. And we didn't make the playoffs. And if you found that surprising, I have a bridge to sell you in Milwaukee. We did get an outstanding year out of Pat Kelly, which was not expected, but highly welcome nonetheless. Very good power, very good discipline, got on base, hit the ball hard, and played a pretty fair outfield game too. Oliva we traded for, but nonetheless he continued to produce. Boots Day had a pretty solid season, mostly through his defense, which is pretty amazing. Good old Bill Buckner put up a 2 WAR and about 300 at bat and about 400 at bats. Everyone really wants a veteran presence, so I think that's something we will address when we get the opportunity. Goodson was really productive. Like this is a superb hitting line. Your third base play leaves quite a bit to not to write home about, but that's still pretty good. And then everyone else played varying degrees of meh. Pitching. Lazar had a good year. Boswell turned out to be pretty solid for us. Al Downing wasn't terrible, but we also had a lot of really bad pitching, which is going to need to be fixed if we're going to be anything like what we could achieve. But I know how to build a rotation. At least I'm reasonably certain I can build a rotation. Poor Dick Stewart. Like, in real life, he was actually fairly decent. Like, he was a good player for a while. Not so much in ours, though. And we will sim to the end of the playoffs. Oh boy, I'll pull everyone off the DL because we have to. Okay. Oh, god damn it. Why, Bert? And the San Francisco Giants won the World Series. Congratulations to them. Congratulations. Can I do better? Absolutely. Will I do better? Who knows? All right. So next episode, we're going to rebuild our coaching staffs in the minors. We are going to try to build a pitching staff. Like, we have a fairly competent offense at this point. It's maybe not superstar brilliant, but it's pretty good. We just need reliable pitchers who can pull the team ahead. And Blyleven is definitely a big part of that. He's going to pitch the full season in the majors next year, and we'll see how he handles that. We could also use some improvements at the other offensive positions, but I think pitching has to be our focus next season. Unless we can get, like, a truly outstanding shortstop. Which might well be possible. But until next time, this has been Avindian. Thank you for watching. And until then, I bid you good day.